Have you ever wondered why some people just genuinely love winter? You know, if you're one of them, you get that it's not about being sad or gloomy. It's something way deeper. So today, we're going to unpack the real psychology behind what makes someone a winter person.
Does this sound familiar? Everybody else is counting down the days to summer vacation, and you're over here secretly getting excited about the first frost. People tell you you should be outside enjoying the sun, and it can make you feel, well, like you're wired a little differently. Turns out you are, and that's actually a really good thing. You see, society gives us this very clear script, right? Summer is supposed to be the season for happiness, for being active, for getting social. But for a lot of us, that script just feels like chaos. Your reality is that winter brings this incredible sense of calm, a real sharpness of focus, and a mental clarity that summer it can't touch.
Now, this is where things usually get misinterpreted. There's this common myth that if you like winter, you must be linked to sadness, maybe even depression. But we are going to completely debunk that idea today using some solid psychology.
And this, right here, is the heart of it. Your preference for winter has way less to do with your emotional state and pretty much everything to do with how your brain is fundamentally wired. It isn't a choice between being happy or sad. It's about your brain needing a specific kind of environment to function at its absolute best.
So what is actually going on inside your brain? Why does it not just put up with, but actually thrive in colder, quieter, and darker environments? Well, the answer is pretty fascinating.
The key concept we need to understand is what psychology calls a low arousal environment. Just think of it as a setting that isn't constantly screaming for your attention. Less noise, fewer people, softer colors. For some brains, this isn't boring at all. It's optimal. It frees up all this mental energy that you can then use for deeper thinking.
And you know, to really appreciate why winter feels so right, we first have to talk about why summer can feel so, well, wrong. It's not a personal failing on your part. It has everything to do with the season's entire sensory profile.
Okay, so every single second, your brain is processing a ton of information from the world around you. This mental effort, that's called sensory load. And summer is a high-load season. It demands a huge amount of your brain's energy just for you to exist in it.
Just think about it for a second. You've got the intense sunlight, the constant hum of air conditioners and lawnmowers, crowded streets and parks, the physical stress of just being hot, and on top of all that, this relentless pressure to always be social. It's like a cognitive storm that can drain your mental battery incredibly fast.
Okay, so if summer is all about cognitive chaos, then winter is where you find cognitive clarity. Let's break down the 5 psychological strengths that winter provides, creating the perfect conditions for your brain to hit peak performance. So we're going to explore 5 core principles that really explain this whole thing. Think of them as the puzzle pieces that, when you put them together, show exactly why you feel more like yourself when the temperature finally drops. First up is sensory load management. Winter is basically nature's noise-canceling headphones. The crowds vanish, the colors get softer, and a fresh blanket of snow literally dampens sound. This creates what's called environmental silence, which lets your brain stop wasting energy filtering out a million distractions.
Next, we've got thermal focus. High heat is a huge physical distraction. It makes you feel tired, sluggish, irritable. But cooler air gets rid of all that physical noise. Research actually links it to better mental endurance. When your body is comfortable and contained by the cold, your mind is totally free to expand and get some deep work done.
This quote right here perfectly captures our third point: inward orientation. Summer demands that you perform externally. You have to be out, be seen, be active. But winter? Winter gives you permission to turn inward, to reflect, to create, to plan. It's a season for building yourself, not just broadcasting yourself.
Number 4 is identity independence. In a world that is constantly screaming, summer is the best, choosing winter means you're not just blindly following the cultural script. You're actually listening to your own biology, trusting your internal preference over what's popular. That is a seriously powerful psychological trait.
And finally, emotional containment. There are studies that show heat can actually increase irritability and impulsive reactions. I mean, think about the phrase hot-headed. It's a real thing. In contrast, the calm of winter helps you regulate your emotions. It creates the mental space to respond with logic instead of just reacting with pure impulse.
So let's put this all together. It's time to reframe your preference not as some kind of flaw, but as a powerful personal strategy for high performance.
Here's probably the simplest way to look at it. The average brain might crave all that external stimulation that summer offers, maybe as a form of distraction. Your brain, on the other hand, craves the internal clarity that only winter can provide. It's not a need for less, it's a need for depth. So, what does this all mean? It means you're not antisocial or sad. You are environmentally strategic. You instinctively choose the climate that allows your mind to operate at its absolute highest capacity, free from all that noise and sensory overload. Ultimately, it really just comes down to this. Your preference isn't about being cold-hearted. It's simply that summer is loud and your mind works best in the quiet. For you, winter isn't a lack of energy, it is the protection of your energy.
And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. If your preference for a whole season is this strategic, what other choices are you making, maybe subconsciously, to put your mind in its ideal environment? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.